Hi, my name's Amber and you're watching Rainbow Colours. Hi, my name's Amber and as you can tell I'm still at home and my voice is going, so I'm really sorry about the sound that's coming. But I have got some new stuff. I've got a microphone and a new light. I think we'll just make things a lot better. Today I just wanted to talk about how autism can affect your everyday life rather than, like, so far I've just talked about church and I just talked about how to handle church, what to do at church, This time I've changed it. I'm doing something different. I'm talking about everyday life stuff. I'm in a weird corner, so I might just end up sitting like this. So, anyway, so let's be honest, that one thing that we all of us on the spectrum all have trouble with is obsessions. Let's be honest, like, we all have the obsessions. I don't know how it is for you watching, like your one. I know mine change a lot, but when I get one, suddenly I'm really so hyper focused on it. It's ridiculous. I can't sleep. I can't do anything but this one thing, and which is great in one sense, because then you become this amazing expert at this one thing. But in another sense, not so much, because you end up putting this thing before God, and that's almost like an idol. It's really, like, it's a really hard thing to manage, and I know exactly what you mean and how that works. I know, like, I've had that same issue time and time and time again, just over and over again. Literally, it's one of those things, isn't it? I'm not 100% sure how we're supposed to manage it. I'm still trying to learn how to manage it. I mean, if you're someone who's learned how to deal with it, great. Can you please put it on the comments so other people can read it? And maybe, like, another time I'll put it in another video. Sorry, my voice is really bad. Anyway, I think it's just one of those things. It's like, it can make us feel so rubbish sometimes. I mean, I know I've had obsessions before where I've just not slept. If I've wanted to go sleep, all I can think of is this one thing. And all day, every day, it's just this one thing. I find the only way for me to deal with it is for me just to go through it and come out the other end of it. And then once I'm out the other end, it's fine. But when I'm in it, it's just, you can't really strike up a conversation with me other than this one thing that I'm obsessed with at this point. But I just want to talk about the fact that obsessions are great. Like, I mean, there's a reason why us guys on the spectrum are the best in our field, because we're so fixed on this one subject, topic, whatever it is, that that we learn everything, and we know more than the majority of people on this subject, and we become the best in this field and stuff. And great, God can use that in those situations where we're, like, the best in our field. God can use that. Like anything, God can use. Anything bad, God can turn for good, But it's a hard one, because at the same time you've got to be wary that we're not participating in idolatry. It's a hard one. Like, I still haven't worked it out myself. It's just a thing, isn't it? Is we don't want to be caught in idolatry. We don't want to say this thing is more important than God, or we could do it without realising, you know. And I think it's something we really need to be mindful of. I know I've had my struggles with it plenty of times in the past, like lots of struggles with it. I don't know if you're the type of person who just has one fixed obsession that doesn't change, or whether you're somebody who has changing things. I think the one thing that I find helpful in that situation is to make sure that we're sticking to some sort of timetable, you know, like that's on there is time with God. I think something like that just makes the world a difference, because even though you might be having this one obsession or whatever, you're still taking that time to spend with God, you know, and we're not forgetting. Like, I find it really easy when I'm in an obsession to completely forget about God. It's really easily done. Like, like, I don't blame you if you're having that, where you're just like, everything is about this one thing and you completely forgot about God, completely forgot to pray, completely forgot to talk to him, you know. It's really easily done, like, particularly when we're in that, it's really easily done. But I think something that we just got to be mindful of is that we're not idolising this one thing, because then it becomes an idol. I think this is a really big struggle within autism communities. Like, I've not spoken to one autistic person who's Christian and who hasn't struggled with this. I struggle with it, and I'm pretty sure if you're watching it and you're on the spectrum, you probably really struggle with this too. It's a really hard thing, and I think it's really hard for us to reach out as well, because I've mentioned it to people, and the one thing I get is, how can we support you through that? But unless we don't really know how someone can support us through it. I mean, sometimes, like, my obsessions are really weird. I don't even want to tell someone about it because it's just that odd. I don't want people to know, you know. Like, I remember once getting really obsessed with a fashion style one time, and I was like, this is a really odd fashion style. I don't really want to share that I'm obsessed with this. Or, getting back to the point, sometimes it's really hard to reach out for help. Like, I think something we can do is just be really, like, find somebody who we could be really honest about it with. So I think it's odd, but not be horrible about it or whatever, you know. But I think sometimes we need to find someone to be honest with, someone who we trust, and someone who's quite strong in their faith as well. We need someone who's strong in their faith to help us sometimes. I mean, I have had them in the past. Right now I don't. Mentors are really great. A mentor, yeah, I think someone like that, like a mentor, or someone like that who can help you through these sort of situations and help spiritually guide us. Don't get me wrong, mentors are not therapists. They're not anything like that. They're just people who are strong in their faith and are able to help just to guide us a bit in the right direction. So please don't go to a mentor thinking they're gonna know all about your condition. They're gonna know all about you know, like the type of things therapists do, right? No, just no. And they're there to spiritually guide us. Some people go through mentor training for it. Some people we just click with, and we're like, wow, they're really strong in their faith, and, you know, I wonder if they could guide us. Like, there's lots of different things that make a mentor, but someone like that would be really great, I think, for us, particularly in those moments. If we can turn around and say, I'm having this obsession, right, and it's part of my autism. Like, just be open about it. Just be like, it's part of my autism to have obsessions. Right now I'm stuck in one. Can you help me? Like, they might help you pray. They might just be able to, I don't know, I have someone who sends me Bible quotes every day, something like that, you know. Or there's also the Bible app. It's free on Google Play. I've got it. I think majority of Christians have it. But if not, literally just type in the Bible app. There's a Bible app in there. It's free. It's got all the different translations of the Bible. And also, it sends you daily Bible quotes. So like that would be really great. I mean, just sometimes you just need to be reminded, you know, sometimes. And if you ask somebody who's not autistic, neurotypical, you know, and you know somebody who's autistic and stuff, and if, don't do it unless you're really close to them, but if you're really close to them, just be like, have a conversation about it with them. It might be odd, or it might be something very normal. Like, it's really a person-to-person thing. But, and like, if they're telling you about an obsession or something like that, just try not to be judgmental about it, because they might just have a bit of an open mind about it. And I'm pretty sure if you ask them about it, honestly, you probably won't even get to say anything to them. Just be prepared for that. But have these conversations with them. And if they're telling you about the fact that they're stuck in an obsession, maybe say, can I send you some daily Bible quotes? Or can I send you a daily prayer? You know, something, you know, some sort of reminder. Like, and I think the majority of us have memory problems as well. So a reminder is really, I think, is a really great thing to have. Like, helps just to focus you a bit towards God. You know, sometimes it's a bit hard. Like, my sessions just get so bad, I can't think of anything else. And I mean, try and be sympathetic towards that though, because unless you've experienced it, you're not going to fully understand what it's really like. I've never met an autistic person at church who doesn't struggle like this, and then turns around and says, but then how do I remember God? Like, it sounds silly. It's like, yeah, but you should remember God. You should be thinking about God 24/7, you know. But sometimes, particularly in an obsession, it doesn't work that way. We forget. Like, the thought doesn't come in our head at all, and is completely out of our hands. We have no control over it. And I think a misconception that people have is that we have control over that. We really don't. I've never been able to control an obsession ever. Sometimes they're really helpful, sometimes they're like not so helpful, but I have no control over it until I'm out on the other end. If you know someone who struggles in this way, maybe do something like send them daily Bible quotes. Ask them if they want that. I reckon majority of us will say yes. I can't think of one person I know who'd say no to that. Maybe just offer to pray for them in those sort of times, because sometimes we need that sort of prayer, like, to help us through those things. Sometimes they can be really useful. Like, sometimes some obsessions can be really great. I don't know, say if you got an obsession where you just wanted to know everything about the Bible or something like that, sometimes they could just lead you on this discovery path, but on other times they just aren't helpful. It's a very mixed thing. Sometimes they're helpful, sometimes they're not. It's a very odd sensation, I think, like an odd thing to explain. I couldn't possibly explain to a neurotypical person how it feels to have an obsession. All I can say about it is it consumes everything in your life at that point. Like, your whole life revolves around this one thing, and you can't think of anything else. You can't have a conversation outside of it. You can't do anything else than focus on this one thing. Then if someone distracts you from it or something like that, you get really upset about it, and it's really, really out of our control. Or I've learned over the years to never self-relax into it and just get through it, because I know it will come out the other end eventually. When it's been really intense, I've never had it last longer than a week. So I just learned just to get through that week, and I'll be out on the other side of it. Obsessions last a lot longer than that, by the way, just to let you know. They do last a lot longer than that. I'm just saying, for me personally, the worst of it, like where it consumes everything and I can't have a conversation outside of it, and I can't go to sleep until I've done something to do with this obsession. Like, I can't sleep because it's always on my brain, and it's like my brain's always buzzing with this one thing. I've never known that for me to last longer than a week. I had a knock at the door while I was filming. I just had to unmic myself and everything. I was saying about how it doesn't normally last longer than a week, but after that week, I'm still obsessing about this one thing. I mean, have a conversation with me, and I'll probably still want to talk about this one thing, right? It's really a hard thing to get out of. It's the only way I can describe it. It's like being in a bit of a rut, like a mental rut, where you can't get out of it, you know. Don't get me wrong, I am saying that mine, like the really intense part last only a week, but like I say, it's a personal thing. Like, some people, for me, it might last. You might have the day of brain buzz about it, and you cannot physically think about anything else but that. Or you might have you might go months and months like that, you know, or years. Or you might have one obsession that doesn't change, and your mind is always on that. It's literally a person to person thing. I mean, all my obsessions I think about all the time. I'm not saying that I don't always think about them. It's just that, first of all, they change. And when one changes, I will be in that rut for at least a week, sometimes a bit more. It literally depends what it is and what's going on. Sometimes we just need a bit of a nudge. I know it sounds really weird. Like, sometimes we just need a nudge from a friend, someone close to us. I don't know, to send us a Bible quote, to pray with us, or something like that. And the thing is, I find this, I don't know if this is a universal thing or if it's just me, but I find that when I'm in an obsession as well, if I'm praying, my brain is not in the prayer, like, at all. Like, I've had it loads of times if someone's been praying for me or whatever, my brain is not in that prayer at all. And my brain's talking and chatting about whatever it is that I'm obsessing about. Yeah, whatever it is I'm obsessing about, my brain is just on it. It doesn't stop, even for prayer. Sometimes we do need a nudge and a little bit of a helping hand through it, and just a non-judgmental hand, you know. Unless you've experienced level of obsession, you're not going to understand it, really. But I do encourage you, like, if you're neurotypical, to help us in that moment, in those times, because we really do need help in those times. I find that I really need help in those times, because my brain is just full of buzz and chatter and stuff about this one thing, and I can't pull myself off it. This is where understanding and this sort of community comes into it. We need to, like, be a community and help each other and all that stuff, you know. We need to do that, and that's just part of being God's children. We're supposed to help each other, and all this stuff, You know, we're supposed to help each other. We're supposed to encourage each other. We're supposed to help keep each other on the right track. And we're supposed to talk out if something's wrong, you know. And that goes for neurotypicals and it goes for autistic people, by the way. We're both allowed to talk out if something's, speak out if something's wrong. As long as it's respectful, because we've got to be really respectful, because no one's going to listen to us if we're really horrible about it, you know. Say if you're an autistic person and you see something wrong, you're allowed to say that's wrong, you can't do that. Also, if you're a neurotypical person, say if you see us in one of these ruts and we're not spoken about it, right, you're allowed to say, I've noticed that you've been in this obsession for a while now, what can I do to help you? You know, that's the sort of conversations we should be having, but unfortunately, they don't happen. But we should be having those conversations, and we should be able to be open about these things. And if you're autistic, open up to somebody, please. I'm always going to say, just open up to somebody about how you're feeling, about your obsession, about things that go on for you. Open up to somebody, because they might be able to help you. Be careful about who you open up to, is all I'm going to say. There's always be careful who you open up to, because there's always going to be somebody who doesn't understand and doesn't want to understand. But on the other hand, there's always going to be somebody who wants to understand, or they already understand and they want to be there to help you, or they don't understand, they want to understand. There's always going to be those people, you know. The thing that I found the best to be able to open up to people is some of my closest friends that I didn't talk to until I spent a while watching them, and that sounds really creepy. It's not in a creepy way, more of observing of what was going on, and I'd just observe while I was at church or something, and then decide who I wanted to go and talk to. I find that's a really great help, particularly for us, because we can't just immediately read people. Sometimes it's easy just to stand back, we'll observe for a bit, and we can still have these conversations, but just stand back and observe people for a little bit, and actually after a while get a feel for somebody, and you're like, actually they seem pretty calm, I like them, or you can see how they're interacting with someone, going, actually I don't like the way they're interacting with other people, I don't really want to talk to them. Both things are fine, but do open up to somebody, even if you have to do that for a bit. Just open up to somebody. And yeah, thank you for watching, and please hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell icon if you want to my next upload. I upload every Friday. I'm gonna apologise for last week. I normally upload every week, but last week I was so sick that I couldn't even film. So I couldn't film, I couldn't edit, I couldn't do anything. So, but please like, subscribe, send this to friends, send this to pastors, send this to whoever you feel needs to hear this. I feel like this is a very important video, so please send it around. I'll post it on Facebook and everything. Yeah, thank you for watching. I'll speak to you next week. Bye.